So I wanted to make this video to talk a little bit about the inspiration behind this painting and also get into a little bit about my artistic process. So this piece is actually a part of a series that I've been working on. It was inspired by a trip I took to Spain over the Christmas period. One of the biggest parts for us while travelling was having these long festive lunches. The type where people sit around the table talking for hours. When I'm travelling, I normally have a camera with me, and I started to find myself in the habit of taking pictures of table settings. I was really intrigued by the, Spanish decorations for tablecloths and like these old antique plates and cutlery. Not only that, but when I got my film photos back, I noticed that all of the glassware and shiny reflective surfaces had these really nice reflections coming off of them. And the way that film processing works, I found this effect to look really cool. And I guess another big part of these lunches and dinners that I found really fun was that the men and women tend to dress up really nicely, so wearing suits and beautiful dresses. And always having my camera with me, this made for great photo moments. So typically the first part of my process is just about blocking in the main colours, trying to get all those main forms and shapes, and just getting as much paint on the canvas as possible. At this stage in the process, I'm pretty much ignoring details completely, and it's just about getting the values and the proportions right. In terms of the colour palette for this piece, I really tried to focus a lot on purples, especially in the skin tones and in the transitions between lighter and darker values. I also think that the use of orange in the glasses really gives the piece a little bit more of a pop. So with this painting in particular, there's a really strong juxtaposition between the background and the foreground. It's almost a little bit chiaroscuro. The reason for this is while I was in Madrid, I was using a lot of flash photography. And especially in these darkly lit dinner scenes, that creates quite a fall off between the foreground subject and the background. Probably the hardest part of this piece was trying to tackle the hands, and in most cases this is the hardest part of any of my paintings. Here in particular because there's so much emphasis that's placed on them in the composition. The biggest strategy I use when painting hands is the combination of different brush strokes, and I think this helps to replicate all the intricate musculature and the different tones that you often find in hands. I also wanted there to be a little bit of bling in the painting, and that's why I added in so many rings on the fingers. I also thought because there's so much emphasis placed on the hands, this would be a good opportunity to add in some cool details in that area. So probably the most fun I had with this painting was adding in the details for the glassware. As I said before, I was really infatuated with all the glass reflections that I found in my film photos, so that was something I definitely wanted to add in here. So the glass on the lower left of the composition, you can actually see a little bit of the plate coming through the reflection, and to achieve this and make it look really realistic, I distorted the shapes in kind of like this wavy fashion and added in a bunch of random light reflections that made it seem transparent but also give it that reflective quality. For me, the most enjoyable part of any painting is adding in the white highlights. I typically like to apply a lot of titanium white onto the brush and add on really thick brush strokes, which I think kind of just works to create more depth in the painting. A contrast between really thick applications of paint and then the smoother areas on the canvas. In this case, the white highlights were really important, especially because I was trying to get that flash strobe light effect. And in the end, I thought this came across really nicely. So I guess my goal for this painting was to try and capture those filmic-like moments. and bring about this atmosphere of festivity and also a little bit of glamour. In the end, I hope I achieved that. So I hope you enjoyed this little talk. I'm also going to be posting more videos about the other paintings that I'm doing in this series. So make sure to stick around.